It was a cold winter night. The hospital was silent except for the sound of heart monitors and footsteps in the hallway. Anna, a young nurse in her 20s, walked quickly through the corridor. She had been working since morning, tired but still smiling. She always believed that kindness was part of her job, even when life gave her nothing in return. Anna came from a small town. Her father had passed away years ago, and her mother was sick. Every month her salary was never enough, yet she never complained. She loved helping people. That was the only thing that gave her peace. That night, a new patient was brought in. The doctors rushed him into the emergency room. Anna heard the nurse beside her whisper, "He's in a critical condition. A kidney failure." She looked through the glass window. The man lying on the bed was pale, weak, and almost lifeless. Later that night, the doctor called her. "Anna," he said, "we've admitted a new patient, David. He needs a kidney transplant immediately. We're searching for a donor, but it's not easy." Anna nodded quietly. She felt a strange pull in her heart. Something about that man's eyes looked lost. It's like he had no one. When Anna went into his room to check his vitals, she noticed he never spoke much. He looked tired of the world. He didn't even have visitors. No family, no friends. "Do you have anyone we can contact?" she asked gently. He gave a weak smile. "No one," he said softly. "It's just me." Those words stayed with Anna. For days she watched him from a distance. Every morning she checked his IV, gave him his medicine, and tried to cheer him up. "Good morning, Mr. David," she'd say with a small smile. Sometimes he would nod, sometimes he wouldn't even look at her. But deep inside, he started noticing her kindness. One evening, Anna was in the hospital cafeteria drinking tea. She overheard two nurses talking. "Do you know that new patient? They say he came in a private car but told the staff not to write his full name." "Really?" the other said. "Maybe he's hiding something." Anna thought about that. Why would someone hide their real name? The next day, the doctor came with news. "The patient's condition is getting worse. We still can't find a matching donor," he said sadly. Anna's heart sank. Without thinking, she said, "Can I check if I'm a match?" The doctor looked surprised. "You sure, Anna? It's a serious thing." She nodded slowly. "Yes, maybe I can help." The test results came back the next day. The doctor called her into his office, holding the papers in his hand. "Anna," he said with a serious tone, "you are a perfect match." She froze for a moment. Her heart started beating fast. She couldn't believe it. She was the only person who could save him. That night, she sat beside her mother thinking. Her mother asked, "You really want to do this, Anna? For a man you don't even know?" Anna smiled softly. "Mom, if God made me a match, maybe there's a reason." She didn't know that this one decision would change her entire life. She didn't know the man she was about to save was not an ordinary patient, but a powerful, lonely CEO who had hidden his true identity. The next morning, she walked into his room. He looked weaker than ever. "Good morning," she said. "You'll be fine soon." He tried to speak but could not. Anna gently adjusted his blanket and whispered, "Don't worry. Everything will be okay." The camera slowly zooms in on her face, calm, brave, and full of hope. The narrator's voice fades in. Sometimes destiny hides behind small acts of kindness. A nurse's heart was ready to save a life, but she didn't know that life would soon change hers forever. The morning sun touched the hospital windows, filling the hall with soft golden light. Anna walked slowly toward the doctor's office, her heart heavy. The night had been sleepless. She had thought about the patient, David, and about her mother, who was still weak at home as she entered. The doctor looked up and said gently, "Anna, it's confirmed. You're a perfect match for the transplant." The room went silent. Anna took a deep breath. "Then let's do it," she whispered. The doctor stared at her, surprised. "Anna, you understand what this means, right? It's not a small thing." "It's surgery, risk, pain. I know," she said, cutting him off softly. "But I can't just watch him die." That night, Anna sat on her bed, staring at the ceiling. The hospital lights outside flickered through her window. Her mother's cough echoed from the next room. She wanted to help both her mother and the stranger who was fading away in front of her eyes. Tears rolled down her face. "God, please guide me," she whispered. The next morning, she visited her mother. The older woman looked pale but smiled. "Hannah, you haven't been sleeping," her mother said. Hannah sat beside her, holding her hand. "Mom, there's a man at the hospital. He needs a kidney. I can help him." Her mother's face changed. "A stranger? You don't even know who he is." Anna nodded. "Maybe that's why it matters. He has no one, Mom. Sometimes saving someone doesn't need a reason." Her mother looked at her silently, eyes filling with tears. "You have a heart too big for this world," she said. "If this is what you truly want, then I'll pray for you." The next few days passed quickly. Yana signed the papers quietly. No one in the hospital knew, except her doctor. She didn't want attention, pity, or fame. She just wanted to do the right thing. David didn't know who his donor was. He had asked once weekly, "Who's helping me?" But the doctor only replied, "Someone kind." He had no idea that the nurse who smiled at him every day was the one about to give him life. The night before the surgery, Anna stood by his bed for a long time. He was sleeping, the machines beeping softly. She whispered, "You'll be fine, mister. David, tomorrow is your new start." She smiled faintly and walked away, her eyes full of quiet courage. The surgery morning arrived. The hospital was calm but tense. Nurses moved fast, doctors prepared. Anna wore the patient gown, lying on the stretcher, her hands trembling slightly. The doctor leaned close and said, "Anna, we're ready. Don't worry, you're doing something extraordinary." She smiled weakly. "I'm just doing my duty." The lights above blurred as they rolled her into the operation room. The sound of machines, the smell of medicine, everything felt distant. Before she closed her eyes, she whispered, "Please, let him live." Hours later, the surgery was over. Both survived. The doctors called it a miracle. The transplant was successful. When Anna woke up, her throat was dry, her body weak. The nurse beside her smiled. "It's done, Anna. You did it." A small tear rolled down her cheek. "He's alive?" "Yes," the nurse said. "You saved him." Days passed. Anna recovered slowly. Her mother visited her with flowers. "You did something beautiful," she said softly. But Anna didn't feel like a hero. She just felt peace. One morning, she asked about David. The nurse looked confused. "Didn't you hear? He was discharged yesterday." Anna's eyes widened. "Discharged? Without even saying thank you?" The nurse shrugged. "Maybe he didn't know it was you." That evening, Anna sat alone on the hospital bench. She looked at the sky, wondering if he was fine, if he ever thought of her. Maybe he didn't. Maybe kindness wasn't supposed to be returned. The camera moves in slowly as the narrator's voice says, "She gave a part of herself to save a stranger's life." But destiny was not finished with her yet. The man she saved would soon return, and when he did, her world would never be the same again. Days turned into weeks, and life inside the hospital slowly returned to normal. Anna was back on duty, wearing her white nurse uniform, moving quietly through the halls. No one there knew what she had done. She didn't tell anyone that she had given away her kidney to save a stranger's life. Every morning, she walked past room 204, the room where David had stayed. It was empty now, the bed clean and cold. Each time she looked inside, her heart sank a little. She had expected nothing in return, no gifts, no praise. But somewhere deep inside, she had hoped for something small. Maybe a thank you, a letter, even one line that said, "I'm alive because of you." But there was nothing. The hospital staff moved on quickly. They only said the patient left early. His bills were paid. No one knows who handled it. It was as if David had vanished from the world. At first, Anna tried to forget. She told herself it didn't matter. But late at night, when the corridors went silent, she still remembered his tired eyes. She remembered how lonely he looked before the surgery, how she had felt when he whispered thank you without even knowing what she would do for him. One evening, Anna was sitting on the hospital bench outside sipping coffee. It had been a long shift. The air was cool, and the streetlights flickered. Then she noticed something strange. A black luxury car parked quietly across the road. Its engine was off, but someone was inside. The car had been there the night before, too. And the night before that, Anna's friend, another nurse named Lena, came out and teased. "Maybe someone's watching you, Anna." Anna smiled nervously. "Why would anyone watch me?" I'm just a nurse. But inside, she felt uneasy. The next evening, the same car appeared again. When she looked at it, the driver started the engine and drove away slowly, disappearing into the dark street. Days passed. Mysterious little things started happening. One morning, Anna found a white envelope in her locker. No name, no address, just a single folded note inside that read, "Thank you for saving my life." Her hands trembled as she held it. There was no signature, no clue. But her heart somehow knew it was from him. She pressed the letter to her chest, eyes closed. "David," she whispered softly, almost afraid to say his name aloud. From that day on, she started noticing more signs. A bouquet of fresh white lilies appeared on her desk every Monday morning, her favorite flowers, though she never told anyone that. Her hospital locker was repaired one day, though she hadn't asked for it. And each time she felt alone, there was always that car parked quietly near the hospital gates. It's like a silent guardian. Lena laughed and said, "You've got a secret admirer." Anna only smiled. Maybe it's just a coincidence. But her eyes said something else. One night, rain poured heavily across the city. The hospital power flickered, thunder rolled outside. Anna had just finished her shift and was walking to the bus stop. That same car was there again, headlights dim, engine off. For the first time, the car window rolled down halfway. Inside, a man's shadow sat still, watching her. But before she could move closer, a passing truck splashed water on the road. And when she looked again, the car was gone. She stood there, soaked and trembling, her heart pounding. Something told her this wasn't over. Whoever that man was, he wasn't just watching her, he was waiting for something. That night, as she dried her hair and looked in the mirror, she whispered, "Why do I feel like my story with him isn't finished?" The camera zoomed slowly on her face, the reflection trembling slightly in the mirror. The narrator's voice fades in softly. She saved a life and thought it ended there. But some stories don't end. They only hide, waiting for the right moment to return. 2 months had passed since the surgery. The hospital was busier than ever, and Anna's life had slowly fallen back into its quiet routine. She smiled at every patient, worked hard, and hid her pain behind kindness. But every night, she still thought about the man she had saved, David. Sometimes, she would take out the letter, the one with just 4 words. "Thank you for saving my life." She would trace the ink with her fingers and wonder, "Who really are you, David? Why did you disappear?" One morning, Anna was called to the head doctor's office. "Anna," he said with a smile, "a private hospital requested your assistance for a few days. They asked for you by name." She frowned. "By name? But why me?" He shrugged. "Maybe someone recommended you." "It's a good opportunity. They're offering double pay," Anna agreed. She needed the extra money for her mother's medicines. The next day, she arrived at the private hospital, a luxurious building with glass walls, clean halls, and polite staff. Everything felt different. Too perfect. A nurse led her to a special room on the top floor. "Please take care of this patient," she said softly. When Anna opened the door, she froze. There he was, David, sitting near the window, looking healthier than ever. Her heart skipped a beat. For a moment, she couldn't speak. He turned slowly, their eyes meeting after all those silent weeks. For a long moment, no words came out. Only silence, heavy and full of meaning. Finally, he stood up and said quietly, "Hello, Nurse Anna." Her throat tightened. "You remember me?" A small smile appeared on his face. How could I forget the person who gave me life? She wanted to say 100 things, to ask why he left, why he hid, why he sent only a letter. But before she could, he spoke again. "I owe you the truth," he said. "The man you met in that hospital wasn't really David. My real name is David Williams. I'm the CEO of Williams Enterprises." Anna blinked in shock. She had heard that name on the news before, a billionaire businessman, famous yet private, known for his cold heart and lonely life. You're that David?" she whispered. He nodded slowly. "Yes, I hid my identity because I was tired of people pretending to care. I wanted peace, even if it meant being alone." He looked down for a moment. When I fell sick, I didn't tell anyone who I was. I didn't want fake kindness. I just wanted to know if there was still real goodness in the world. He looked up at her, eyes soft. And then I met you. Anna didn't know what to say. She stepped closer, her voice trembling. You should have told me. You just disappeared. I thought something happened to you, he sighed. I wanted to come back, but I needed time to understand what I felt. You changed my life, Anna. I didn't know people like you still existed. The room went quiet again. The only sound was the city outside the glass window. After a pause, David said, I've started a new foundation, a charity for patients who can't afford treatment. I want you to be part of it. Anna shook her head. You don't owe me anything, he smiled. Maybe not. But I owe this world something because you reminded me what kindness looks like. Tears welled in Anna's eyes. She looked away, hiding her emotions. He continued softly, You gave me life, Anna. Now, let me give you a new one. Outside, the evening sun painted the sky golden. Anna looked at him, the same man she once thought was just a lonely patient. Now, she saw someone different, a man reborn through kindness. The narrator's voice fades in gently. She gave her heart without expecting anything. He found his soul in the kindness of a stranger. And in that quiet room, 2 lives changed again. Not through money, but through meaning. A week after their meeting, Anna still couldn't forget that moment. The man she once saw as a weak, lonely patient was actually one of the richest men in the city. But what stayed with her was not his wealth. It was the softness in his voice when he said, You changed my life. A few days later, she received an official letter. Inside was a job offer, Williams Foundation for Medical Hope. Position, head nurse, charity division. At the bottom, it said, If you accept, come tomorrow at 10 a.m. Anna sat with her mother that evening, holding the letter. Her mother smiled, eyes full of pride. Maybe this is your reward, Anna. God doesn't forget kindness, Anna whispered. I didn't do it for reward, Mom, but maybe. This is a new beginning. The next morning, she arrived at a tall glass building in the city center. The security guard greeted her politely. Everything inside looked elegant. Shining floors, large paintings, fresh flowers everywhere. It didn't feel like a company. It felt like a dream. When she entered the top floor, she saw David again. He was standing near a large window, looking over the city. He turned and smiled. You came. Anna nodded shyly. I still can't believe this place is real. He laughed softly. It's real, and now it's yours to help me run. He showed her around, rooms filled with nurses, doctors, volunteers, and children laughing. The foundation was built to help poor patients who couldn't afford treatment. Every file, every photo on the wall, told a story of hope. David said, I wanted this place to exist long ago, but I didn't have the heart for it. You gave me that? Anna looked at him. You're giving hope to so many, David. This is more than money, he smiled. No, Anna, this is your kindness. Multiplied. Days turned into weeks. Anna worked harder than ever. She met families who cried with gratitude, children who smiled through pain, and patients who found courage because of the foundation's help. Her gentle nature inspired everyone. David often watched her from a distance. He saw the same warmth that once saved him. He no longer felt like the lonely CEO the world once knew. He felt alive again. One afternoon, Anna visited her mother with flowers and groceries. Her mother looked around their small home and smiled. You seem happy, Anna. Your eyes look peaceful. Anna nodded. I think I finally found my purpose. Her mother hugged her gently. And I think someone up there is proud of you. Weeks later, a quiet surprise came. A man from the real estate office knocked on their door. Ma'am, this house has been paid off completely, he said. The documents are in your name now. Anna was stunned. There must be a mistake. But the man smiled. No mistake. The buyer wished to stay anonymous. That night, she knew it was him. She held the house papers close to her chest and whispered, David, why are you so kind? The next day, she confronted him gently. I know it was you, she said. You didn't have to do that, he smiled. You gave me life, Anna. I just returned to home. Their eyes met, filled with respect. Not romance, but something deeper in that moment. Both understood something unspoken. Their bond was not built on love or money, but on gratitude, on something pure. The narrator's voice fades in as the camera shows the hospital foundation filled with laughter and hope. One act of kindness can grow like a seed. It can build homes, save lives, and heal hearts. She gave her heart to help one man. Together, they built a world to help thousands. The Williams Foundation had grown into one of the biggest charity networks in the city. Hospitals, free clinics, and blood drives now carried the same logo, Hope Heals. And at the heart of it all stood Anna, the nurse whose kindness had started everything. She was no longer the shy girl who walked quiet hospital halls. She was now Chief Nurse Anna Williams, head of the medical division, loved and respected by everyone. But despite her success, she still lived simply. Same soft smile, same humble heart. Every morning she arrived early, greeting every nurse and patient with warmth. People often said, "There's something different about her. She makes pain feel lighter."
Yes!
And indeed she did. David, on the other hand, had changed too. The world still called him the millionaire CEO. But those close to him now called him something else. The man with a second life. His company had flourished, but his real pride wasn't business anymore. It was the foundation. He spent most of his time there, quietly watching people heal. One afternoon, a group of new nurses joined the foundation. Anna gathered them in the hall for orientation. Behind her, a banner read, "Kindness is the heartbeat of humanity." She spoke softly, her voice steady. "We don't just treat illness here. We treat fear. We treat loneliness. Every smile you give can save someone. I know, because once a stranger's pain changed my life too." The room went silent. Some of the new nurses had tears in their eyes. From the corner of the room, David watched quietly. Her words touched him just as deeply as the day she saved his life. Later that evening, as the sun set over the glass windows, David walked into her office. Anna was reviewing reports, her hair tied neatly, eyes tired but bright. He placed a small box on her desk. "What's this?" she asked, smiling. "Something for you," he said. "Open it." Inside was a delicate silver bracelet with a small charm shaped like a heart. On it, one word was engraved: gratitude. She looked at him, speechless. He said quietly, "For everything you gave me, and for everything you continue to give to others." Anna smiled gently. "You've already given me more than I ever dreamed of, David. This foundation, it's the real gift." He nodded. "Yes, but it wouldn't exist without you." For a moment there was silence, not awkward, but peaceful. It was the silence of two souls who understood each other without words. That weekend, the foundation celebrated its 5th anniversary. Doctors, patients, volunteers, and families gathered in the grand hall. Photographs of healed patients decorated the walls, smiling children, mothers, fathers, and elders. Anna stepped on stage to give her speech. She looked at the crowd, then at David sitting in the front row. Proud and calm, she began. 5 years ago, I made a choice. I didn't know who I was saving or what my future would be. I only knew one thing, that kindness never goes to waste. Today, this foundation is not just a place. It's a reminder that when we give, we grow. When we help others, we heal ourselves. Applause filled the hall. Tears sparkled in the eyes of many, including David. He knew her words were not just a speech, they were truth carved from experience. After the ceremony, Anna stood outside the building watching the night lights of the city. David joined her, standing quietly beside her. They didn't need to speak. They both looked at the stars, the same stars that had once watched over a dying man and a brave nurse. The narrator's voice fades in softly, calm and heartfelt. She gave life without expecting anything. He returned her kindness by sharing it with the world. Two souls, different worlds, one destiny, joined by an act of love that healed more than a body. It healed hearts. The camera pans upward, the city glowing below, the stars shining bright above. On the screen appears the final line. Sometimes. The richest hearts belong to those who give without asking anything in return. The camera slowly pans to the sunset outside the window, Anna and David standing side by side watching.